Now, UN monitors are staying in Syria, and that's despite the head of mission saying his team has been repeatedly targeted by hostile crowds and even gunfire. General Robert Mood has been briefing the UN Security Council. Our UN correspondent Barbara Plett has more.
Just days after the UN observer mission in Syria was suspended due to rising violence, Major General Robert Mood of Norway paid his first in-person visit to the Security Council here in New York. One Western diplomat described his closed-door briefing as gloomy. The diplomat said Mood said the UN unarmed observers were targeted 10 times by direct fire, 100 times indirectly, and 9 times UN vehicles were attacked in the last 8 days. Nevertheless, Mood's boss, the UN's Department of Peacekeeping chief, said the mission there will stay.
We have decided, however, not to touch, not to modify, but rather to maintain the integrity of the mission and of its mandate.
The Security Council has until next month to decide whether to extend this UN observer mission unarmed in the middle of all this violence. The UN's peacekeeping director, according to diplomats, discussed 2 other options about what to do now. Either increase dramatically, maybe up to 3,000 people, the observer force there, that would require the Syrian government approval, or leave a small office in Damascus and pull everyone else out.
As the head of the UN observer mission to Syria briefed the Security Council, the violence that has kept his monitors from doing their job continued. General Robert Mood's first in-person report to the Security Council painted a grim picture, where violence has steadily increased, putting his observers in danger.
I was also able to bring to the Council my very high respect for the courage and the commitment of my observers on the ground, working in very difficult circumstances, where violence, including shelling, small arms fire and other incidents, are coming much closer, and we have been targeted several times over the last few weeks. This violence to the utmost in itself, but also because it made it very difficult to execute the mandated activities of my mission, led me to the decision a few days ago to halt the activities of UNSMIS.
General Mood will evaluate the security situation on a daily basis, emphasize his mission's commitment, and that the observers will get back to work as soon as he feels it's safe. The Syrian ambassador after the meeting said that the violence is not one-sided.
There is a terrorist dimension in the Syrian picture, and we have to deal with it. This is why these gentlemen today, all of them, told you that there is no plan B. The only way to push forward is to guarantee the success of the 6-point plan of Mr. Kofi Annan.
There are still divisions within the Security Council, and each day of increased violence confirms the weakening of the Annan 6-point plan, both sides ignoring the call to lay down their weapons. Some think the Security Council has exhausted their role in the conflict.
There's a difference between when diplomacy has failed and when the UN Security Council has gone as far as it can go. I think we're at the second point. And certainly the events of the last 2 days have shown us that if this thing is shifting from the Security Council to Washington-Moscow bilateral relations, it's going to be worse.
President Obama and President Putin, after their first face-to-face meeting, agreed that the violence in Syria has to stop, but little else. No word how the 2 countries are going to work together to help make that happen.